All right, so what we're going to do on this video is train you sort of how to start your own map of influence. This will be quite key to us in the next training module, as far as when we say work your map. This is the map that we're talking about. So you'll need a piece of paper and something to write with. And this is one of those projects that the more you give yourself time to think about it, the better off you'll be. And more names that will come to your mind as you think about it. But the goal on this training video is just to show you how to draw the map and what is actually involved in it. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and we'll do that. All right, and so what I want you to do is take your writing utensil, whatever you have, and draw 5 horizontal lines. They don't have to be straight, although some people get the ruler out because that's important to them. All right, 5 horizontal lines and then 5 vertical lines. And as long as they're reasonably spaced apart, you'll be fine. And so when you're done, you should have a grid that's 4 by 4, all right? And go ahead and number these ones down here, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then these ones from the bottom to the top, 1, 2, 3, and 4, all right? And we'll talk about what you're gonna actually do with this grid in just a second, but those are our numbers, all right? Okay, across the bottom, we're gonna label this as access. And across the vertical axis, we're going to call this one influence. All right, so let's talk about those for just a second before we get to names. In terms of access, access means the access that you have to an influential person. All right, so somebody that will pick up the phone as soon as you call or respond immediately to an email, you have high access to them. Somebody who may not even know who you are, but you're a friend of a friend, and it might take them a little while to get back to you, that might be a 1 or a 2 on access. You don't have very much access yet to that person, all right? So let me give you some names, and we'll play with the access score for just a second here before we jump to influence, all right? And these are either for people that I work with or mainly people that I work with. All right, so I'm going to give you some. I'm just going to run down through some names. Jim is somebody that you're pretty familiar with if you've been a part of these training videos. Jason, Louie, Kelly, Audrey, Kathy, and Todd. All right, and these are people who I either know, right, have access to, or are very influential in whatever project I'm trying to accomplish, all right? And in terms of access, running through them, okay, Jim, I have pretty complete access to him, so he would get a high score for access, right? Calls me back when I call him, immediate response, etc. Jason's somebody who I worked with several years ago. It would be some work to get reconnected with him, but he would respond, all right? So I would write him as a 2, all right? Louis is my boss here at Spring Street, so I have a lot of access to him. Kelly is a former teacher of mine at Seattle U. She would respond if I called, but I haven't talked to her in quite a while, so I'll give her a 2. Audrey is a friend of mine. We don't talk a lot, but if I was to ask for something or to want to talk with her, I would get that pretty quick. Kathy's another woman that I work with at a different school who's sort of in my same position, academic advisor, whatever. She and I talk off and on. I would just put her as a 2 right now, probably a 3 if I needed to. Todd is somebody who I talked to in the past, friend of Jim's, friend of mine in some sense. Let's call him a 1, just for argument's sake. Maybe a 2, depending on that. All right? Okay. Now let's talk about influence. Influence is exactly what it sounds like. All right? If a person has high influence, they can write you a check that day. They can publish your book or get that process started. They can move on something, all right? They have influence. A person 1 on influence is, my aunt is a big supporter of mine. She loves my work, but she doesn't know anybody or can't actually help get the ball down the field for whatever the project is that I'm playing with. So let me run through my list here on influence and hopefully get the feel of how this works. So Jim is pretty influential as far as I'm concerned, knows a lot of people and can connect me with other people. Jason's quite influential in the education world, has worked in some pretty important places as far as Washington State is concerned. Louis has good connections if I needed those and wanted him to help me do something. Kelly is quite influential in the kind of consulting world or educational world. Audrey, probably not as influential, although she's younger and who knows, she might be able to help me quite a bit. Kathy, similarly, quite young, maybe not as crucially influential in my work. Todd, I would rate as a 4, has written several books and has a lot of sort of influence in both church world and education world, all right? So once you've got a list, and that list may grow between now and when our call is, think about these numbers, okay? And you're welcome to change them, nothing's set in stone. But the last thing that I want to show you on this video is how to plot people and how to actually build your map with the people you have. All right, so we'll start down here at the bottom. Okay, Todd is a 1 and a 4. So 1 on access means right here. 4 on influence means up there. So I'm going to put him up here in this box. All right. Kathy's a 2 and a 2. So 2 on access, 2 on influence. All right. Audrey's a 3 and a 2. So 3 on access, 2 on influence. Okay. Kelly's a 2 and a 3. So 2 on access, 3 on influence. All right. Louis is a 4 and a 3. So all the way over on access, almost all the way up on influence. All right. Jason's a 2 and a 3. So 2 on access, 3 on influence. And last but not least, Jim's a 4 and a 4. So he would be up here. All right. And what the power of this map is that it gives you a landscape of where people are and where you are. All right. What you ultimately want at the end of our training module is to have a number of people kind of in these 4 squares up here that you have access to. FaceTime is prime time is one of the things you'll hear Jim say as we get going, and that can actually do something with you and for you once they believe in you and the project or fundraising or whatever it is that you're doing. Okay, so the goal is, think of yourself as starting down here in the lower left-hand corner and consistently making that move to the upper right-hand corner. All right. All right. Between now and the call, build your list and build your map. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to call me or text me. Our hope is that when we do the training video together, our call together, you'll have already started onto this map idea and have questions and names in your head as we go. Thanks again for paying attention, and we'll see you at the call.